recently had the thought that it's time that we as light workers graduate to the next level and start doing the hard stuff. So, what does that mean? Hi, I'm Deborah Poneman, founder of Yes to Success seminars, where for over 40 years, I've taught tens of thousands of people around the world how to live lives that they truly love. So I was talking to a friend the other day about how I pretty much have a handle on those things that you need to do to make your life work, like putting your attention on what you do want and not constantly complaining about what you don't have, or listening to my intuition and not thinking that I know better, or wishing other people success and prosperity, especially if they're in the same field as me and maybe even if we're eyeing the same contract. But now I'm ready to do the hard stuff and really, really, really live my truth. And this is, I was talking to a guy, and he's a very, very insightful guy. And he told me that he remembered the exact moment that he started living his truth, that he started living in his highest integrity. And he said it was when he was so depressed that he didn't even care if he lived or died. And it was at that moment when he didn't care anymore about pleasing others. And he just spoke his truth. And he didn't care what anybody thought about him or said about him behind his back. And he said at that moment, he felt like he was free. And when he came out on the other side of the depression and he realized that that was his authentic self, that that was who he really was, and that was the way he wanted to live his life from then on. And he said at that moment, everything changed. So you've heard me say that the blessing of illness or depression is that when you're in that state, you don't have the strength to be the personality you. So you just have to be the person you. And my friend said to me during our discussion, he said, I mean, what's the worst thing that could happen to you if you speak your truth? What's the worst thing that could happen to you if you are authentically yourself? And I said, I don't know. I guess I would die. And he said, are you afraid of death? And I said, no, not at all. And he said, well, there you have it. So my new prayer is lead me in straight paths for your name's sake, because even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, there's nothing to fear and I have nothing to lose, because that's the worst thing that could happen. And I'm not afraid of that. You know, we manipulate because we think we have something to lose and we don't. So when I hear the voice say, you're out of integrity, I stop and I restart. Now, the old Deborah would just continue with the voice screaming in the background, why are you doing that? Old Deborah would just let it go and let it go, because I would think I'll find a way out later on. New Deborah trusts and does the hard thing. The only reason we manipulate or feel the need to control or lie is because we don't trust that if we do the right thing, that there's a higher power that will work out the situation much better than you ever could. So I'll tell you a baby step story. And this is about my son, Daniel. And he has, I don't even think he has any idea this ever happened. But last year I was visiting Marin County, where I used to live. And I was staying at my friend Shelly's house. And she was out of town and she gave me her place. And my son Daniel was coming to the area on business. And he said, oh, yeah, she said, okay, yeah, no problem. He's welcome to stay there too. So he stayed at Shelley's, and the first morning he had just finished his meditation, and so had I. And I was running out the door to go to an aerobics class when he said to me, Mom, will you make me some breakfast? Now, normally I would have stopped everything, dropped what I was doing, changed my plans in the moment, skipped my class to make him breakfast. But I didn't, because I love that class. And I was only in town for a few days and I hadn't been to it in like a year. And I realized if I dropped everything to make him breakfast, I would be out of integrity. So I said, I would love to, but I don't want to miss this class. There's toast and eggs and avocados and all kinds of things in the fridge. I'm sure you can make a really nice breakfast. And I left. And when I got back, he had just finished fixing his breakfast and it was gorgeous. It was more creative than anything I could have made, and he shared it with me. So instead of me missing my class, I had a delicious breakfast made by my son. I know it's a very, very small thing, but I know those of you who are parents or grandparents or guardian parents or aunties, your uncles, you know how it is. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm going to give you a challenge this week, and I'm going to call it the Integrity Challenge. And if you really want to go for the gold, not only can you live in integrity in this moment, but you can even go back and clean up old messes you made by being out of integrity, agreements you didn't keep, promises, whatever. And it doesn't even mean you have to go back and keep the agreement. Werner Erhard, who is the founder of AST and Landmark Education, he says there's a difference between keeping an agreement and honoring an agreement. He said, keeping an agreement means keeping it at all costs, even if it no longer serves you or them. Honoring it means you can go back and say, I can't keep this agreement, but I'd like to honor it by asking, what else can I do? And usually a simple acknowledgement to the person that you made the agreement with that you didn't keep, well, that's enough to clean it up, and it keeps you in integrity. And of course, this is not only for you, but it's how you can serve the planet at this time. I call it running 100% clean, because each day you live is gone and you don't get a second chance at that particular day. So you might as well use it to show you trust and that it will all work out if you make integrity your top priority.